Well, thank you very much, Jay. I'm really happy to be here today. Um, my presentation is going to focus on why 4R is important. And we have a platform in FCL called Grown with Purpose. So you'll see reference to that, but that's just our 4R platform that we use with farmers. I want to go over why sustainability is important to Western Canadian farmers. Um, the one thing that I want to emphasize is um, most farmers are using sustainability practices on their farm. We just don't have the data to prove it. So many of the platforms that companies like FCL, JRI, Nutrien, Independence, there is 4 RA agronomists that will go over an assessment with you and answer all the questions. And then we have the data that we can use in discussions with government, because they are implementing sustainability objectives and goals. And I think one of the things I really want to emphasize to you is that if we provide the data, we have a basis for discussions with the government on how the 4R nutrient stewardship practices do, you know, look after the sustainability issues in terms of reductions of emissions of nitrous oxide, as well as sequestering carbon. When you define sustainability, there's normally 3 pillars that we look at. First of all is the economic profitability. We don't implement practices on farms unless they make economic sense. And the environmental stewardship part, of course, I don't think there's any farmer that is going around and not using environmental stewardship practices. But the 4R assessment really goes through all those practices that you are using. We have a social responsibility. Customers, consumers are wanting to know more about what farmers do. And, you know, there isn't many people that are directly from a farm anymore. And I think consumers need to know about the sustainability in agriculture. And in fact, that farmers do have a very long-term approach on sustainability. We talk about economic profitability. You know, how you manage your farm is all to do with economics. But I think over the last 20 years, research has repeatedly demonstrated that sustainable agriculture is much more profitable than conventional agriculture. You know, a farm that is using a practice like zero till, when you start looking at 4Rs, really, it does really lend itself into sustainability, because not only are we conserving moisture with zero tillage, but we're also sequestering more carbon and making our soils healthier, as well as reducing erosion. I think the one other thing I want to emphasize, agronomists in the field are 4R certified and trained. That's a question you can ask agronomists that you're working with. One of the real key things is we go through training to be certified and talk about the practices that can help you be more sustainable. And some of the practices may make sense on your farm. Again, when we talked about in 1990, I was just out of college, and I remember thinking, there is no way all farmers will switch to zero till. Well, that was proved wrong because it made sense, economic sense on a farm, and it does make sustainable sense on a farm. So I think when you look at zero till, soil testing, which is huge, because you need to know what type of fertilizer you need, when you're going to apply it, and soil tests will give you recommendations, and your 4R certified agronomist can then decide what type of fertilizer, when you put it on, maybe growing new crops or your crop rotation can be changed. So um, being a responsible partner, there's lots of the industry that is working together. If you look at 4R designated acres, Fertilizer Canada is looking to increase that to 15 million by 2025, and that's a huge goal. And we're getting there. I think the number that I looked at yesterday was 6 million acres. And it's not that there's way more acres that could be 4R certified if we had the data. And so Canola Council, 90% of the canola acres, they would like to be reported in the 4R by 2025. I think the number there was 55% of the acres are being reported today. So I think we can all do a lot better. I'm from Saskatchewan, and the government of Saskatchewan is talking about having 25% of the total cropland acres designated as 4R by 2025. And Saskatchewan has a lot of acres. And I think in order to do this, we need to encourage farmers to just report the acres. So if we look at environmental stewardship, some of your 4R agronomists are going to go over the buffer areas around waters, looking at soil cover. We look at a whole host of things. And what I really want to hit home to you guys is that the farming practices we use today are very sustainable. And I think it's just a matter of reporting what we're doing and having the discussion with the agronomist that will help you. Social responsibility, I think that, our government is pushing forward to reduce nitrous oxide emissions, as well as looking at the carbon sequestration in agriculture. So I think data is what's going to carry us forward here. And I just want to talk a little bit again about the 4R nutrient stewardship practices. When you look at it, it's about using the right source of fertilizer and using soil tests to decide what rate you're putting on, and doing it at the right time. I think Western Canadian agriculture, we've looked at fertilizer as being a one-pass operation with seeding. And I think we need to look at how we feed the plant and encourage the plant to grow at the right times, and looking at timing of fertilizer, maybe in split applications, could be something that would be an economic benefit to the farm as well. I think that as farmers of agriculture, it's really important, to document your practices. And any of the acres that are recorded under 4R are done with anonymity. So it's not like anybody seeing the farmers' names. it's a reporting of the acres on the crops that we have. And I believe that this is the right way to document what we're doing, and that gives us visibility of showing not only consumers, but government on how we are managing our soils, our fertilizer, and how we grow crops. So that is the end of my presentation.